Are these shoes max cushion or are they daily trainers? That's a good question, and I don't know if I fully have the answer, but today I think that this is a good comparison, so let's talk about the Salomon Aeroglide 3 versus the New Balance 1080 V15. What's up everybody, I'm Eric McIntyre, aka Rad Dad Bod, and you're watching Rad Dad Bod TV, where we review running shoes. If it's your first time watching one of my videos, you may notice some timestamps below, so feel free to jump around to the various parts of this video, but if you do so, I'd sure appreciate if you come back, watch the full thing when you get a sec, as I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. Now, quick disclaimers and disclosures are that I did receive both of these shoes for free for the purpose of review. That being said, I'm not being paid, I'm not obligated to make any specific content, no one watches the videos beforehand, I'm not given talk tracks or talking points, anything along those lines. All thoughts are entirely my own. Now, as far as intended use, one of the reasons I wanted to compare these shoes is, one, I think that this is a really good comparison of similar feeling shoes. So a lot of speculation around the 1080 V15, which launches early next year. People are not sure what they're going to get out of it because they're losing the Fresh Foam X. Well, the Aeroglide 3 I think is a similar comparison, so I wanted to break these down and talk about that. But the other thing is both of these are technically max stack, but nowadays with super max cushion shoes, I just wanted to talk about kind of these potential tweeners and maybe what they feel like and why you should consider them. So now kicking us off with a price perspective, from price, the 1080 is going up $5 to $170, right? So it is out of kind of standard daily trainer range. We're kind of getting into that premium daily trainer range. The Aeroglide 3 comes in at $160, so similar general range there, but that's kind of more the premium daily trainer standard for the most part. But my guess is we'll see more and more shoes in 2026 moving more towards the 170, 165 range for this type of shoe. Right, from a specs perspective, some similarities between the shoes as well, but just talking about them really quick. So we have the Aeroglide coming in at 8.8 ounces and 249 grams, and the 1080 coming at 9.2 ounces and 261 grams. So 1080 is a little bit heavier. And then from a stack standpoint, the 1080 is 40 in the heel, 34 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop, and the Aeroglide is 42 in the heel, 34 in the forefoot for a 8mm drop. So again, both of these kind of up at that 40-42 stack range, so very high stack, but performance-wise feeling more daily trainer-esque as opposed to recovery. Now, from a fit perspective, I would say that the Aeroglide has a true to size length, wide heel, roomy midfoot, and then kind of a standard toe box, so definitely wide foot friendly, good wide option. And the 1080 is similar, so true to size length, and I would say that it has a wider fit overall, right? Maybe not fully actively wide, but definitely wide foot friendly. So similar overall. I think for both of these, you could go with your normal size. The only consideration I would make is if you have narrow feet, neither of these will probably work well for you from a lockdown perspective. Now, from an upper perspective, the Aeroglide 3 has that seamless mesh. It's the 3D seamless mesh. It is really, really comfortable. It's not the most breathable, but it's fairly breathable. Similarly, you have the molded breathable upper in the 1080 V15, more breathable than previous models, but still a tiny bit warm in comparison. But again, just a nice kind of comfortable material. So both of these shoes have comfort first, in my opinion, right? There's a comfort theme kind of throughout. With the Aeroglide, you have a stitched tongue, so it's not gusseted, but it is stitched. With the 1080 V15, you do have a fully gusseted tongue. So lockdown between the two, I give the edge to the 1080. Breathability and just pure comfort, I maybe put towards the Aeroglide with that 3D seamless mesh. It's very, very comfortable. The gusseted tongue, though, of the 1080 definitely helps you get that locked in fit in that midfoot area, where the Aeroglide, there were times when the heel just felt a little bit too baggy or loose, and so I had used the runner's knot on that, right? But I think both uppers, again, wide foot friendly, give pretty good lockdown for the most part. And for the paces that you're going to be running in these shoes, I think the lockdown is appropriate, as neither of them are going to be necessarily used for speed work. Both of them are going to be more daily miles, maybe some long runs in them without just kind of moderate or fast paces. And I think that's where the uppers are going to give you the lockdown that you need for that. The Aeroglide 3 did give a little bit of lace bite. The 1080 did have some fit issues to start, or lockdown issues just to start. The molded upper, the breathable molded upper, I just felt like it took a couple of runs to break in to start to actually mold to your foot. So moving to the midsoles, both have supercritical TP TPUs, right? I believe that's correct, TPUs. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to compare them, because as I was running in the 1080 V15, I was trying to think what shoes have similar feel underfoot, and a couple came to mind. So previous versions, because I haven't tried some of the newest versions of the Saucony Triumph, right? So thinking Saucony Triumph 21 and 20, that Power Run Plus is a supercritical TPU, I believe, right? So in the Aeroglide, though, you have the Evo Foam Plus, or Energy Evo Foam. That's what it is, sorry. Energy Evo Foam in the Aeroglide. And it is not firm, it is soft, but it's not overly mushy or squishy, right? It's supportive when you stand. It's not compressing a ton just standing in it, but when you run, it compresses a decent amount and then it rebounds very quickly. That is a similar feeling that I get with the 1080 V15, with the Infineon being also a supercritical TPU. Now, I do think the Infineon foam is a little bit softer, right? So it's somewhere between Fresh Foam X and the Energy Evo Foam, or somewhere between also Fresh Foam and the Power Run Plus. It is a little bit softer. It still is kind of that classic 1080 comfort and squish. The difference is it's more supportive, it rebounds quicker. So while yes, they're saying more responsive, it's not necessarily a fast shoe. It's just that it's not actively, or it's not taking as long to rebound as previous models. So these two, I think, very, very similar in bounciness. I think that the Salomon Aeroglide 3 is a little bouncier. I think it's a little cushier, like a little bit more underfoot, and we know it has more stack underfoot, but similar overall sensations where they keep you running, they keep you moving forward, they feel like they protect the joints really well, but they're not going to be overly soft or overly mushy. From a stability standpoint, I would say they're about the same. Maybe I give the slight edge to the Aeroglide 3, but similar overall experiences. I think these shoes actually are very similar in a lot of aspects. Moving to the outsoles, the 1080 has that durable rubber, and for the most part, it's holding up well. I'm not overly concerned with the grip on the 1080s. They get the job done. With the Aeroglide, you have the Contra grip, and for me, this grips the ground really, really well. Salomon, you know, obviously, I feel like they're a trail first type brand, and they're just kind of not just getting into road, but more and more improving on their road models. And so I do think that the Aeroglide is going to have better overall grip, but I think for the most part, they both get the job done for what they need to do, which is primarily road, kind of just standard miles there. So now my pick between the two, I do go Aeroglide, one, because it's $10 cheaper and similar overall utility, but two, I do think you get a little bit of extra bounce, a little bit of extra kind of support. It's just similar feeling overall, but the Aeroglide, you know, I think it's just a little bit more fun. Do what you will with that information, right? And preferences, I think, are going to differ. I think that Aeroglide starts moving into more standard daily trainer territories, where the 1080 V15, I think, is a step towards that. But, you know, the 1080 line has always kind of been a little bit more of that tweener, right? Like I'm saying, where it's almost a recovery day shoe with how soft it is. It's not quite that soft, but again, like I said, I do think it is a little softer than the Aeroglide. Therefore, I just prefer this feeling over the other, but I think that this could go either way for most people. So yeah, I mean, major changes with the 1080 V15. I hope that that's helpful in understanding kind of where it sits nowadays, but just some final thoughts, right? I think more and more we're gonna see less brands using kind of, I don't wanna say like overly, or I don't want to say dead foams, but that's what I'm thinking is like dead foams, like foams that are just soft but don't give a lot of rebound, right? I think more and more we're going to get supercritical trickling into daily trainers. I think we're seeing that. I think we saw a lot of that this year, and for the most part, I think that's a good thing. I do think there is still a place for the more classic daily trainers, and I still think that there is a place for super squishy, soft foams. For me, if you watch my reviews, you know that the 1080 Fresh Foam X hasn't always been friendly to my feet, but I completely understand it is a favorite for a lot of people. So I'm not the only one who they make shoes for, right? So anyway, if you watched this far, I sure appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about these shoes, what other comparisons I could do, or what I could be doing better in general as a reviewer to make these more entertaining for each and every one of you. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and that turn on notifications so you get notified every time I drop a new video. And if you'd like to support the channel, please consider using any of the affiliate links in the description below. If you need running tights, just running gear, running clothes, RadDad20 gets you 20% off, 20% off at wallaco.com. And if you need any running fuel, running gels, electrolytes, anything like that, RadDad gets you 10% off at fuelgoods.com. So just to wrap us up, I'm gonna leave you guys with a question, which is, do you have a rotation for both easy miles versus standard daily trainers? Do you have a different shoe for recovery days? Let me know what you do in the comments below. Thanks everybody.